Aloha mai kako e na hoa makawaka o ka olelo Hawai'i. Welcome to Kulāiwi. O au o e kelakani aupi o Crozier, a o au ke kumu no ke ia papa, a makimaki wau e mahalo aku ia oko no ka oko nana ana mai ke ia kakahiaka. Today we're going to go back to Kawila Maxwell and we're going to review that vignette again. Like I said, we'll be watching the same vignette 4 times, 2 times for each 2 shows, and that's so that you have a real good feel for what's going on, and by the 4th time you watch it, you'll know exactly what's going on and what's happening. Okay, now sit back, watch, pay attention to those things that you do know so that you can try to understand, and those little things that you don't, we're going to clarify as soon as you come back. Okay, so nenea ahui ho aku.
Pololi yo.
Pololi mo oe.
Ai, oe ki kumu I kaito. Make oe ai kume ono.
Ha ole, maala, ma onau.
Ai o mahia ke la haleku ai ho.
Haleku ai hea.
Ke la haleku ai ho me na makana Hawai'i o Kawila Maxwell. Ike o he haleku ai ho. Oia no ka u o lelo.
Ai ke la haleku ai maluna o ka papahele elua. Kukuki ki ala pi I holo.
Ai, hele aku kako. Mai ka ino mako mahalo a o oe?
Paahana no laila haoli wau. Pehea wau e kukua ia oko I kia la.
Make wau e kuai ka makana puka kula.
Ai hiki no, he wahine aiole he kane oia.
He wahine. He aha? He wahine? Ai, he aha kou pilikia. A he mea, oe ke la wahine o kau I. Ike oe?
E kala mai, e olo oi, e ai mo waho. Mahalo.
E la kapilikia. Ui loa o ka ui. Aka mai loa oia. Oia ke pookela o kākou papa.
A oia, oia ke kumu make wau e kuai ka makana kui ka wā nana.
O ai hiki no, e nā lole. He lole nani ki ia.
Ai, he lole nani no ke nā, a ka pea ke la. Na honu, e haawi ana oe na honu ia kau'i.
Ai konane, a ole make ka wahine I ka honu e kau maka paia.
E, nana I ke ia. Make wau I nā lei pupuni I hau. E nani loa ke ia.
Ano pipi I paha ke nā.
Ale pilikia, he mea iki ke kālā, he mea nui ke aloha.
E konane, e nana aku I ke la. Nui nā puki hoi ma o.
Ale make wau e haawi ka puke aia. Aka, make oe e helu. O, mahalo no ko mana o. Ke ho'o hene nei la o iau.
Pehea kukua.
Ai, make wau e nana I ke ia ke olu.
Ai hiki no. Ki ia.
Ai. E hia kālā no kena. Aue, a ohe kumuku ai.
Hele wau e nana. E kali iki ke olu.
Mai kai, he makana manuai kena. Ikulikuli oe.
Ai hiki, he ho'okahi haneli me ka hapa ke kuluku ai. Pehea maikai.
Ai, maikai loa ke la kumuku ai. Koko ia oe, eia ke keni. O, mahalo nui.
Maki o iki ia.
Ai, ke olu.
Maki o ika wahi.
Ai, ina hiki. E ai ka komatari.
E kali ki puni ai. Kako ki pau ka ana wa anei.
E kuai wau I ka aina awa kia no kako. Ai, hiki no, e ke kanaka hau oi.
E no kaumakana. Mahalo no ko o hele ana mai ku hale ku ai. Ahui wau aku kako.
Ai, ahui aku no.
Hiki no, pea ke la ua maupapa ia oko. Was that easy or were you still trying to figure out what was that all about? Hiki no, we're going to go through that right now. We're going to look at vocab first before we do anything else. Na hua olelo ho. Hiki no. We're looking at We're looking at today Kunane buying a graduation gift, and that's why Make oia e ku'ai I ka makana puka kula. Puka kula, graduation. Now you're probably thinking, how do you get graduation from puka kula? That is not gold hole. That is puka, like to emerge. Okay? Kula, school. To emerge from school, to come out of school, graduation. Dun, 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 dun. Okay? Another word that you may have heard was ai ole. He says, he kane, the salesman says, he kane ai ole he wahine. 3 words to make up for that 2-letter word in English, okay? Ai ole, or. Ke po'okela, the excellent one. The one at the top, okay? Ke po'okela. Kuikava. Kunane says, Make vau e ku'ai I ka makana kuikava. I want to buy a special gift. Makana kuikava. You know? And then he points out to these turtles, Nahonu. Yeah, and his friends laugh at him because he thinks the turtles are real nice, and his friends tell him, what? E ku'ai ana oi Nahonu no kau'i. You can go buy turtles for kau'i. What kind of man are you? Okay? Hikino. He decides he wants to buy the lei pupu ni'ihau, and Kekoa tells him, ano pipi'i kena. Pipi'i, expensive. Nui ke kala. Okay, pipi'i. Hoi, interesting. I think we've had this before. You may remember the word pi hoi meant excited or worried. This has nothing to do with it. Hoi, interested, okay? Manuahi, Kiave jokes and says, because no more price tag, maybe he makana manuahi keia. He makana manuahi keia. Maybe it's a free gift, manuahi, okay? When you give somebody something, you know, and you give them without any expecting anything in return, ha'avi manuahi, you give it freely, okay? Without this, ke kumuku ai, the price, without a price, okay? Kumuku ai, price. Ke keni, okay? Maybe you heard of pua keni, 10-cent flour. Well, keni refers to change, okay? Like pennies, quarters, nickel, dime, okay? That kind change, not like Superman kind change. Okay, keni, hikino. The salesman asks if he would like makibaki oi ikavahi. Do you want it wrapped? Vahi. Make sure you're saying vahi. There's a kahako over that last e. Vahi. Okay? Let's try this again. You repeat after me. Pipi'i. Hoi. Make sure you're saying hoi and not hoi. Okay? We're not paddling anything. We're interested. Okay? Hoi. Maikai. Manuahi. Ke kumuku ai. Ikino. Ke keni. Vahi. My ka'i. Okay. They're downstairs and they're trying to figure out where they're going to go. And Kunani says, I am ahea ke la hale ku'ai ho o Kawila Maxwell. I am ahea ke la hale ku'ai ho o Kawila Maxwell. This is straight from lessons 1 through 12, okay, asking where something is. In this case, ke la hale ku'ai ho o Kawila Maxwell. And I think it's Keiko turns around and says, kahale ku'ai hea. So let's take a look at different ways we can say which, what, or who. Okay? Nana kako. Kahale ku'ai hea. Hikino. You see this little hair in ula in red? You put that on top of kahale ku'ai and you get which store? Okay? Kahale ku'ai hea. If we were to put it on, we wanted to say which car. There we go. Ke ka'a hea. Hikino. Ke ali'i hea. Which chief? What if I wanted to say what island? What island? Which island? Kamoku hea. Kamai, if you said that, okay, how many of you were saying that? You're supposed to be out there screaming, me, ovo, you know? What if it says, which clothes of mine, yeah? Which clothes of mine? Ko'ulole hair, okay? Ko'ulole hair. So you see how you just put hair on the end of those and you get which, what, okay? Hikino. The other way to ask, what? Heaha. Heaha. Okay? Heaha is really made up of two words. A what? A what? And he says, Hevahine. Okay? Remember when the Selsvahine says to him, Hekane ai ole hevahine. And he says, Hevahine. And Kiavi turns around, he goes, Heaha. And then he says, Hevahine. He goes, I. So what? Yeah? Hevahine. Ikido. There's also being able to say, Heaha kela. Heaha kela. Ikino. And a response might be, He papa he enalu ho kela. He papa he enalu ho kela. Ikino. That's a new papa he enalu. Recognize any word in there? He enalu surf, papa board. He papa he enalu ho kela. Ikino. Surfboard. Okay, that's a new surfboard. He papa he enalu ho kela. What if you wanted to say that's a new house? He hale ho kela. Polole. What if you wanted to say that's a new store? That's what Kiave says, yeah? He hale ku ai ho. Ai, hikino. This is what we ask who, yeah? Owai keia vahine. Owai keia vahine. Okay, Kiavi is trying to figure out who's this wahine. Owai keia vahine. Remember we had owai koinoa? Yeah? Owai is not what. Owai is who. Okay, when we're referring to people. So owai keia wahine. Who's this wahine? Owai kauipo. Owai kauipo, your sweetheart. Okay? Owai kauipo, who's your ipo? You know? And you want to say, my ipo is nalani? How would you say that? O nalani ku'uipo. There you go. Okay, what is that ku'u over here for? Huh? What is that ku'u? This ku'u right here. You know? Anybody got an answer? This ku'u means my. And only in this form, as far as ko'u, ka'u, for my, okay, do you have this form, this affectionate word, okay, for my, ku'u, okay? There's no affectionate possessive for anything else. No more affectionate his, affectionate hers, okay? Only affectionate my. So when you have aloha for something, then you would say, ku'uipo, okay? My sweetheart. So when you look at those bracelets, that's what it means. It says ku'uipo, it says my sweetheart. So you cannot say, you know, like to your friend, oh, who's your ku'uipo? Lolo, that would be who's your my sweetheart. You got to think, okay? Ku'u means my. Hikino. Okay, what if you wanted to say, who's their mother? This one is a little tricky, but let's take a look, okay? Owai, and you see this? Kolako. This is something new. But you see, it's very simple. We just put this ko in front of da-da-da-da. Oh, I almost could be with a girl. Okay? You put that ko in front of your pronoun, and you turn this into a possessive. So instead of saying, who's their mother? You're saying, who's their mother? Kolako makuahine. Hikino? Okay, Maika, take a look at that for a little while and think about it. What if you wanted to say, who's your mother? And you're talking to a whole bunch of people. Who's you guys' mother? We would change lako to oko. Okay? So it would say, owai ko oko makuahine. Owai ko oko makuahine. Hikino? Maika. Let's go on. We ask ehia, how much? Okay, how much? How much money is that? How much does that cost? Basically, that's what this says. Ehia kala kena. Kena. And why are we using kena? Because he's asking about something that is close to the person he's talking to. Ehia kala kena. Ehia kala kena. And she responds, actually, I think she says it's more than this. He ho'okahi haneli kala. He ho'okahi haneli kala. Okay? It's $100. Okay? If you wanted to say the price is $100, right here at the end we could add he ho'okahi haneli kala ke kumuku ai. Look in your new vocab. He ho'okahi haneli kala ke kumuku ai. Ke kumuku ai. Okay? Why don't we try that? Let's try saying this together. Ehia kala kena. Ehia kala kena. So today you walk into the store, okay, and you ask the salesperson, ehia kala kena. And then you have them look at you like, huh? And then you tell them, oh, that means how much does it cost? Okay, you can act real akamai. And then she'll turn around and tell you, he ho'okahi haneli kala ke kumuku ai. Yeah, the price. He ho'okahi haneli kala ke kumuku ai. And you can tell her, oh, that's expensive. How would you say that? That's expensive. PPE kena. PPE kena. Remember that word? PPE. Hikino. Okay. Let's go on to something that's very, very important. We call them tenses. Some people call them tense aspect markers. Some people just say, oh, this is to be able to say future tense, past tense, and that's right. Whatever you want to call it is fine. But these words right here, ana, okay, action ana. We're seeing it here. Ha'aviana oi ikela honu ya kau'i. Ha'aviana oi ikela honu ya kau'i. You put and ana around this action word, around the verb. And what you've done is given it a tense, the progressive tense. And what that means is that now, instead of, let's take that out. Let's just say, ha'avi oi ikela honu ya kau'i. You give that turtle to kau'i. That's what it's saying, okay? But that's what you want to say. You're going to give that turtle to kau'i. Okay, now some of you are out there going, that's pigeon. Well, that's what this is, okay? You will give that turtle to kau'i. You'll be giving that turtle to kau'i, okay? You're gonna give that turtle to kau'i. That's what putting ana around this verb does. It makes it happen in the future, okay? Is that neat? You just put ana around it, and next thing you know, you've put a tense on it, okay? Remember before, we just learned action, and that was a command. And we'll look at that at the end of the show too. But now you put ana around this verb, and now you have you will, you gonna give that turtle to kau'i. Okay, let's take a look at some other examples of that. Hikino. Ehele mayana olua i kahakai. Here's something that you should be reviewing, okay? Olua refers to who? Olua refers to you two. So you two are gonna come to the beach, okay? You two are gonna come to the beach. Also, another thing is, ana can also refer to something that's happening right now too, okay? But with ana, it has the mana'o of happening right now and going to happen in the future. So, in this case, it could also mean, you two guys are going to the beach. You're going right now and you're still going, okay? Ehele mayana olua ikahakai. And of course, we must be at the beach to be able to say mai, right? Because you're coming this way. Two guys coming to the beach. And the response is, a'ole. A'ole, no, we're not. Okay. E aia na maua ika aina vakea. E aia na maua ika aina vakea. Us two, remember maua? Olua, you two. Maua, us two. Okay? Us two and not the person we're talking to. Okay? A'ole, e aia na maua ika aina vakea. No. We're gonna what? We're going to our ainavkea, our lunch. We're going to eat lunch. Okay? Ainavkea. Long word for lunch, yeah? But we're speaking Hawaiian, not English. Hikino, let's go on. Okay, if we're talking right now in the present tense, right now, this action has to be happening as we speak, okay? We put ke, ne around the action, okay? Like this. Ke ho hene hene ne laua ya'u. See the laua? Okay, let's underline it so we know that's important. Hikino. Ke ho'o hene hene nei laua ya'u. What is that ho'o hene hene? I love this word. You heard the song. Hene hene ko'aka. Okay? Yeah, well, whatever. Okay. Ho'o hene hene means tease. Okay? So tell somebody, don't tease me. Mai ho'o hene hene ya'u. Okay? Mai ho'o hene hene ya'u. But in this case, they're saying, they're teasing me. They're teasing me. Ke ho'o hene hene nei laua ya'u. Ke ho'o hene hene nei laua ya'u. Remember laua, they too. Olua, you too. Maua, us too. Not you. Okay? Let's think of some other sentences that you could have said that you can use right now with the ke nei tense. Okay? Let's say you want to say, the teacher is speaking Hawaiian right now. So what is always first in a verb sentence in Hawaiian? How many of you remember? The action. That's right. The action is first, okay, in Hawaiian, not who did it. English speakers have it so that the first thing in the sentence is who. In Hawaiian, it's what, it's the action, okay? So in this case, the action is olelo Hawai'i. So olelo Hawai'i ke kumu, okay? Olelo Hawai'i ke kumu. But you want to say the teacher is speaking Hawaiian, okay, as we speak right now, present tense. Ke olelo Hawai'i nei ke kumu. That's so easy. Just put ke nei around the action. Ke olelo Hawai'i nei ke kumu. What if you want to say, I'm watching TV? Ke na nei au ike kiwi. See, this is very easy, okay? Now let's take a look at making our make sentence negative, because we're always saying make au ika pepa, make au ika poi. Well, what if you don't want poi? Yeah? Well, then you just say aole make au ika poi. It's very simple. Ma'alahi. Okay, that's the word for today. Ma'alahi. Hikino. Okay, let's take a look at that. Aole make. Aole make au e ha'awi aku ika puke iaya. Okay, because Kikoa says, look over there, you know, there's some books, okay? And he says, Ha'ole makimakiao e ha'awi aku ika puke iaya. Yeah, they ain't too romantic, yeah? Give puke to your sweetheart. Hello, okay? Ha'ole makimakiao. And you see how simple that is? You just put ha'ole in front of make and po. You have a negative sentence. Voila. Okay, here's a word that may be new to you. Kokoke, okay? Kokoke can mean two things. Almost, and in this case we're seeing this, kokoke po, almost po. Yeah, almost po. Kokoke po. Remember what I said, you cannot say po vo, yeah, for I'm po. Because if you po, you make. The work is po, whatever it is that you're doing is po, okay, but you don't say I'm po, okay. The other translation for kokoke would be near, okay? Aya kokoke ike ala pi'i. And what's missing is something right in here, okay? Right in here would be aya kahale ku'ai kokoke ike ala pi'i. Aya kahale ku'ai kokoke ike ala pi'i. But because we're talking about kahale ku'ai, we can leave it out. And we can just say, oh, aya kokoke ike ala pi'i. It's near the ala pi'i, okay? Hiki no maikai. That's just something small to add. Here we have some idioms, okay? Like oya ke kumu. Oya ke kumu. Okay? And we're looking at oya right here only because you may be thinking, you know, oh, I thought that was he or she. Well, sometimes in this case, like this, it can mean that, okay? That's the reason. That's what this is. Not she's the teacher. Okay, that's the reason. Oya ke kumu ika vau. That's what Kiawe says when he gets teased because he's always eating. He says, oya ke kumu, that's why. Ika vau. Okay. There's also when Kunani says, Oia no ka'u'olelo. That's what I said. Okay? Oia no ka'u'olelo. That's what I said. Okay? And this is an idiom. It doesn't really say, what you're seeing. But just remember that. Oia no ka'u'olelo. Hiki no? That's what I did. Oia no ka'uhana. Look at some commands that we had. E kaliiki ke olu olu. Okay? So when the sales wahine tells him to wait a little while she goes to check the price, the kumuku'ai, and she tells him, E kaliiki ke olu olu. E kaliiki. This iki over here is little bit. No need to wait long time, just wait iki. Okay? E kaliiki ke olu olu. And I think Ikoa tells Keawe this too when he says, Maki maki voe aima patties. Or e aika koma patties. And Kikoa tells him, e kaliiki puni ai. And puni ai, he's teasing him, yeah? One who favors eating. So if you know somebody like that, you can call them puni ai. Just to joke, okay? Not to hurt. Okay, the other one was Ikulikuli. We had this last week, okay? Kulikuli is kind of a strong way to say be quiet. This kind of things you say to, people who can handle. But you don't say this to children. That's not nice. To children, we say hamo, okay? But for others, we can say ekulikuli. Hiki no. So now that we've gone through all of that, how about we take a look at our vignette and see if we understand it better. And remember that these patterns that we went over today, we'll be going over next week also. Let's take a look at this vignette, and when you come back, we'll have a little ha'avina, and you can practice, okay, what you've learned. Hiki no. Ahuio.
Pololio.
Pololi mo oe.
Ai, oe ki kumu I kaiko. Make oe ai kume ono.
Ka ole, maala, ma'onau.
Ai mahia ke la haleku ai ho.
Ka haleku ai hea.
Ke la haleku ai ho me na makana Hawai'i o Kawila Maxwell. Ike o he haleku ai ho. Oia no ka'u'olelo.
Ai ke la haleku ai maluna o ka papahele elua. Kukuki ki ala pi I holo.
Ai, e hele aku kākou. Mai kai no mako mahalo a o'oe.
Pa'ahana no laila ha'oli wau. Pehea wau e kukua ai a oko I kia la.
Make wau e ku'ai ka makana puka kula.
Ai hiki no, he wahine aiole he kane oia.
He wahine. He aha? He wahine? Ai, he aha kou pilikia. A he mea, oi ke la wahine, o kau I. Ike oe?
E kala mai, e olo oi, e ai mo waho. Mahalo.
E haka pilikia. Ui loa o ka ui. Aka mai loa oia. Oia ke po'okela o kākou papa.
A oia ke kumu make wau e ku'ai ka makana kui ka wā nāna.
O ai hiki no, e nā lole. He lole nani ki ia.
Ai, he lole nani no ke nā, a ka pea ke la. Na honu, e haawi ana oi na honu I a kau'i.
Ai, konane, a ole make ka wahine I ka honu e kau ma ka paia.
E, nāna I ke ia. Make wau I nā lei pupuni I hau. E nani loa ke ia.
Ano pipi'i paha ke nā.
Ale pilikia, he mea iki ke kālā, he mea nui ke aloha.
E konane, e nāna aku I ke la. Nui nā puki hoi ma o.
Ale make wau e ha'awi ka puke aia. Aka make oia e helu. O, mahalo no ko mana'o. Ke ho'o hene nei la o ia'u.
Pehea kukua.
Ai, make wau e nāna I ke ia ke olu.
Ai hiki no. Ki ia.
Ai. E hia kālā no keno. Aue, a ohe kumuku ai.
Hele wau e nāna, e kali iki ke olu.
Mai kai, he makana manuai kena. E kulikuli oe.
Ai hiki, he ho'okahi haneli me ka hapa ke kuluku ai. Pehea maikai.
Ai, maika'i loa ke la kumuku'ai. Koko ia oi, eia ke keni. Mahalo nui.
Maki o ikia.
Ai, ke olu.
Maki o ika wahi.
Ai, ina hiki. E ai ka komatari.
Kaliki puni ai. Koko ki pau ka ana wa anei.
E ku'ai wau I ka aina awa kia no kako.
Ai, hiki no. E ke kanaka hau oi.
E no kaumakana. Mahalo no ko o hele ana mai ku hale ku ai. Ahui ho aku kako.
Ai, ahui ho aku no.
Hey, Kino, was that better? Now, last week I talked about how this session we're going to do something a little different from the values. Instead of going over our values like we did as far as lokahi, laulima, kokua, aloha, this time we're going to do our valuable resources that we have in Hawaii. And one of the words that I chose to feature is vai because vai means rich. And it seems that Kunane was very vai today, that he was able to buy leipupu ni'ihau. And if you heard, it said, ho'okahi haneli, the sales wahine said, ho'okahi haneli mekahapa. Okay? Ho'okahi haneli mekahapa. That is $150. Okay? 100 and a half hapa. And a half. Okay, so it's $150. And for, this young boy who's just graduating to have $150, that's something, yeah? Nui ke ka'ala. So anyway, vai oia. Okay? Now, what I wanted to do is take a look at this word, vai. It's made up of, it's made by reduplicating one word that we should all be familiar with at this point, and that's vai, the word for water, okay? And culturally, we can see that water is very significant for a Hawaiian, okay? That the fact that you would have a lot of water, okay, would mean that you're very rich, okay? Or else it would have said kala, but since it doesn't, yeah, that means that the value is not kala, the value is vai. That water allows us to grow things, to prosper, to have a family that is well taken care of, okay, to be self-sustaining, okay, to grow our kalo, to grow our crops, okay. And it's interesting because that the word for rich or wealthy would be vai, that we need water to survive. And so whenever you drink halfway through your cup and you throw away the rest, think twice, okay? Or you leave the water running and you just let it go, okay? Or you water at times that you're not supposed to water, okay? Vai, very important. Vai is very important to us, okay? Vai is vai. Hikino. Think about it. Give some thought this week and forever about how we malama ka vai. Hikino. Okay, I want to say mahalo to all of you for watching. So no leila na kia koe ho'opo mai ka e oko. Mahalo nui no ka oko nana ana mai a hui ho kako I ku umau keiki o ki o ni lei ka le aloha. A me kua noni. A hui ho aku. Aloha.